order to gain acceptance, a lot of newcomers or newbies, they try to emulate everyone else just to fit in. But not this newbie. This vehicle I'm about to review today is definitely a game changer, one that would have the more seasoned players following suit. There's a lot to cover on today's video, from this vehicle's unique powertrain to its plush interior and all the technology that would even make a technophile's jaw drop. So stick around, because later we're even going to take this newbie out for a test drive to see if it's more than just a pretty face. It is with great pleasure that I bring you the Geely Azkarra Luxury 4-wheel drive. The exterior of the Azkarra manages to be striking without desperately screaming, "Look at me! Look at me!" It's understated yet so appealing. They managed to do this with a good mix of simplicity and attention to detail. Along the side are simple character lines that flow in one direction. Despite it being a 4-wheel drive, Geely decided to use subtle black cladding. Again, nothing too loud. You'll see they opted for a brushed aluminum look on most of the finishes as opposed to chrome, which gives it a more modern appeal. At the front, you're greeted with these intricately designed headlamps which house LEDs and DRLs. The grille sports their signature expanding Cosmos design. The rear also has LEDs with flowing signal lights. And the best part about this rear end is the fact that these tailpipes are legit. So it's good to know the folks at Geely don't take us for a bunch of fools. Overall, the exterior is clean and has been devoid of anything utilitarian. There aren't any visible keyholes and all the cameras are well concealed. So let's see what the interior is like. So sitting here, it's definitely an occasion. I mean, just look at this. Now, I said this about the Coolray, and I'm going to say it again. It's like every piece here was designed as a work of art, because everything is just so fluidic, everything looks bespoke. Now, I rarely film this much footage of a car's interior, but everything in the Azkarra is a showpiece, so I couldn't help myself. Nothing here looks generic. It almost seems that no cost was spared, and I say almost because the only indication of cost cutting is with the fake stitching on the dash, but that's absolutely offset by everything else. I've sat in cars twice as expensive that isn't this good. These Napa leather seats alone are enough to make anyone drool, but even the back of the seats are eye candy. And it's not just the choice of materials that's impressive about this interior. The design, functionality, build quality will really leave you breathless. Take the buttons and switches for example. They don't only look good, but they also feel good. Not only that, they are also well placed and extremely intuitive. There's ample storage and everything is well dampened. The sun visors also come with lighting so you can admire yourself even when it's dark. Along the center console is where you'll find your gear selector, which of course is also an art piece. Operation may not be conventional as you only toggle it to engage the gears, but using it really is a cinch. Here you also get your drive mode selector, which allows you to switch to 4 driving modes. You can choose Eco if you want to optimize fuel efficiency, Comfort for routine driving, Sport for spirited driving, and off-road for when you want to go to where no road can take you. Beneath the gear selector are USB ports and a wireless charge pad. As impressive as this interior already seems, prepare to be further blown away as I showcase the huge 12.3-inch infotainment screen. For starters, there's the 360 camera which you can view in 2D and 3D. 2D allows you to select various angles of the car's surroundings. 3D, on the other hand, allows you to view the entire car as if you were operating a drone. What sorcery is this? The screen also allows you to configure various car settings such as closing all windows when locking the vehicle, alarm alert functions. You can even set gestures to control the air conditioning, just like your smartphone. There are also heaps of choices for your ambient lighting. But if you couldn't be bothered with that, there's a setting here for your ambient lights to change depending on which drive mode you select. Moving on to the instrument cluster, you get a 7-inch LCD display which also changes depending on what drive mode you're on. The image on both the instrument cluster and infotainment are crisp and clear, and the black levels are pretty good. Stepping inside the rear seats, you'll also find the same level of plushness. All the materials are equally high grade. There's more than enough leg and headroom. As far as amenities go, you get 2 air vents, seat pockets, charge ports, and an armrest with cup holders. But since this is a Geely, even the cup holders have their own sense of theatrics. It can't be said enough. This interior is absolutely gorgeous. I even searched every nook and cranny trying to find any exposed metal, but my search was futile. But is the Azkarra all show and no go? Well, let's pop the hood. This Azkarra is powered by the same 1.5-liter turbo engine as found in its smaller sibling, the Coolray. But this top-spec variant is a mild hybrid, so it comes with an electric motor. And I did some reading on how mild hybrids work, and my head started to hurt. But basically, this electric setup functions as a supplement and allows the engine to shut down when coasting at low speeds or when the vehicle is idle, which improves fuel efficiency by at least 15%. It also aids in getting off the line during acceleration and increases the output of the engine to 190 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. So let's see what all this actually feels like behind the wheel. Okay, so before we get this out on the open road, I want to take a moment to discuss its ambience, because that also impacts the driving experience. Sitting on Nappa leather, surrounded by all these gizmos and tastefully chosen materials and amenities, it really makes you feel like you've done something right. And when you feel good about yourself, you end up becoming better at what you do. And in this case, that'll really help with driving. Now, we all know that driving in the metro is as difficult as keeping your cool in the middle of a war zone. But sitting here in the Geely Azkarra, it really isolates you from all that chaos. Now, one could argue that you don't need all this. You don't need this 12.3-inch touchscreen, panoramic sunroof, and all these bells and whistles. And yes, they may not be necessary, but boy, are they nice to have. So my daily driver has more plastics than you would find at a Tupperware party. And let me tell you, all these materials, it really makes a difference. So that electric motor helps with 3 aspects. 1, it provides more power, and I can tell you that this is light off its feet. Number 2, it makes the ride more comfortable because it switches the engine off when you're coasting, and it makes the interior really quiet. Then 3, there's the fuel efficiency, and they claim that it can improve efficiency as much as 15%. Now that's not bad. The best part about it is that you don't hear the engine switch to electric mode as it happens. It's still very seamless. If there was one word to describe what this car does the best as far as the driving experience is concerned, that would be isolation. Because it isolates you from all the noise, and it isolates you from all the road imperfections as well, because the suspension is also pretty good. So it's raining quite heavily at the moment, as you can see, and I'm caught in traffic. But as soon as I get the chance to stretch your legs, I'm going to show you guys how this thing performs as far as acceleration is concerned. In the meantime, I just have to enjoy the ambience here. Anyway, let's see how it does. I'm currently on sport mode. Let's see how this thing accelerates. Okay, so the power is definitely on the low end, but as you increase RPM, it kind of tapers off a bit. But I can tell you that the shifts are seamless and very quick. But again, you don't buy something like this to go drag racing. In terms of comfort and again isolation, this does a really, really good job. Okay, so the steering is extremely light and on-center feel is kind of vague. But as soon as you move it a bit, there is some feedback and the response is pretty good. The brakes are also really good because the vehicle doesn't nosedive during heavy braking. So visibility is really good. You have a nice commanding view of your surroundings. But what makes it even better would be this 360 camera. And you can even choose what camera to activate while you're driving. So overall, this thing is a joy to drive. It cocoons you in a really nice place despite the conditions around you. The best way to sum this up is to say that the Geely Azkarra is indeed a game changer. It's nice to drive, it's well built, and it has features that can rival cars twice its price. So I guess what would cause people to hold back is the fact that Geely hasn't really proven themselves yet in terms of reliability. But as far as perceived quality goes, everything seems top-notch. But really, only time can tell. And if Geely manages to prove that they are indeed reliable, then the Japanese and Korean manufacturers need to keep their eye on the ball, because this newbie might just take it away from them. Thanks for watching.